You're in a meeting. You have to make a big decision, and your group is about to make a terrible choice. But here's the crazy part. You are all smart. You are all well-intentioned, and you collectively have all the right information. So, why are you about to fail?
Okay, team, we have to move. We have 3 choices. Shelter A, the mall, which has steel doors. Shelter B, a bunker in a factory. Or C, the food court. We have to decide now.
The mall. It has to be the mall. I heard a radio broadcast saying it's got reinforced steel doors. We all heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard that. Steel doors. That's good.
Okay, 2 votes for the mall. I also know it has a food court, so it's got provisions. The factory. I heard it's just an empty warehouse. No food, no defenses.
Right. The factory is a non-starter. It's settled. We go to the mall.
You will fail because of a sneaky psychological trap called the hidden profile paradigm. And to explain it, we need zombies. Lots of zombies. And they're dead. Care to play a game? Where should Alex, Ben, and Chloe go to survive the zombie apocalypse? Choose quickly. Choose wisely. So what went wrong? Let's rewind and look at the information. The group's decision was based only on the shared information. The first shelter, the mall, has steel doors. However, the food court promised food and provisions. But then again, an abandoned factory bunker could have been the team's lifeline. Based on this, the mall only seemed like a no-brainer. This is the common knowledge effect. However, a few confounding variables ruined our team. We love to talk about things we all know. It makes us feel smart and builds consensus. Doesn't necessarily work in a zombie apocalypse, does it?
Before we vote, what's one unique piece of information only you know? Let's assume what we all heard is wrong.
The mall's steel doors are broken.
Right. And Chloe told us the food court at the mall is exposed, and most likely it's a trap. Ben, what do you got?
I found a note saying the factory has a secret bunker.
So the factory it is. Funny how we only got smart once we stopped keeping secrets.
You guys got secrets? Okay, I guess now's as good a time as any to make a confession. I didn't do the reading for the hidden profile paradigm Leo gave us. Also, I hope we survive this because our group project will still be due, you know?
Right then. Two thoughts. That was unhinged. Second, your bunker will do. Seems Chloe was able to make a connection that was beneath us all along.
And they're alive. Well done, team. Even Alex admits the mall's steel walls were broken. Good work, Alex. Humility looks good on you. The hidden profile paradigm explains why smart teams make bad decisions. They confirm what they already know, instead of uncovering what they don't. So next time you're in a big meeting, be the one to ask, what information does each person here have that no one else has? It could mean your dear life.
People often hold pieces of information that aren't shared or discussed. It can usually lead to poor decision making because the group never gets a full picture of the information. It's really about how uneven access to information affects our choices. If you think about a zombie apocalypse, people in that situation have to make really fast decisions under a lot of pressure. They're usually scared, tired, and constantly processing a lot of information just to stay alive. That kind of stress easily leads to cognitive overload, where it's hard to think clearly or make good decisions. In a way, students today experience something similar with digital learning. They often have to switch between platforms, apps, and notification, and it can feel like mental clutter. They spend so much energy just managing the tools that there's left for actual learning. I think the big takeaway for educators is that less can often be more. When we simplify digital environments and focus on meaningful tasks, we give students more space to think and make independent decisions. That helps them build resilience, the ability to stay calm, focused and flexible, even when things feel overwhelming.
When we talk about the hidden profile paradigm in educational psychology, the core idea is fairly simple. Groups can make suboptimal decisions not because they're not smart, but because a critical piece of the information stays siloed within somebody. So in other words, somebody knows something important or perhaps even life-saving in the instance of a zombie apocalypse, but the group never fully assembles or survives, solving the cognitive puzzle. So a vivid metaphor that we decided for this production was a zombie apocalypse, in which we have three survivors debating which shelter to go to. The first is the mall with reinforced steel doors. Somebody vaguely remembers that the factory is empty. Second, and then the third, people are too stressed to recall anything except that there's a food court and there might be provisions. No one shares their piece of information, and predictably, our characters in our story choose the absolute worst option and die in the first instance. So I think producing this video became its own academic case use too. And I'll relate that because Ian, for example, doesn't know much about editing, but he drops a really funny story about zombie apocalypses, a zombie apocalypse scenario. And Maria turns out to be quite the graphic designer, designing all the graphics and title cards for this. And of course, there's me, who's putting all of this together and generating the AI footage. So in a strange way, I think our little production with Ian in the UK, Maria in Estonia, and me over here in Serbia mirrors the very phenomenon that we're trying to explain.
The hidden profile paradigm task has been very interesting, as it's reminded me that too often in business, as well as other walks of life, we think we're doing the right thing to get the best decision. In areas such as strategic planning or new product development, discussions can cost so much money, and in cases even bring the business down. So as a business leader, I need to understand that simply telling colleagues to avoid their preferences before a discussion, or ranking them in order, which doesn't really help address their social shared information bias, or their cognitive preference consistent evaluation mechanisms. I should really try one of these intervention techniques, such as the expert role assignment to address their shared information bias, or the technique of structured discussion to target their preference consistent evaluation issues. If I can help manage my colleagues in a process that is actively and intelligently managed, then we are much more likely to succeed in making better decisions, and as a business, be more successful. So lots has been learnt through the task that I'm going to take away and try to implement in business that I do.